Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders in good health and fit for campaigning. That from 3 doctors after Senator Sanders had a heart attack in October. Ellison Barber reporting live from the campaign trail, of course. She is in Derry, New Hampshire today with more on all this. Ellison.
Hey, Molly, after Senator Sanders suffered that heart attack, he and his campaign said that they would eventually release more information about his health. He and all of the candidates in his age group, they promised to release some sort of health information before the Iowa caucus. Just now, Senator Sanders' campaign has done that. They released 3 letters from 3 different doctors, cardiologists, as well as Sanders' primary physician, who is also Congress's attending physician, all of them giving the senator a pretty clean bill of health. The primary care doctor wrote this, quote, "You are in good health currently, and you have been engaging vigorously in the rigors of your campaign, travel, and other scheduled activities without any limitation." Sanders' personal cardiologist says that he has the mental and physical stamina to fully undertake the rigors of the presidency. Another cardiologist said during a treadmill test, Sanders was able to perform at a level that was 50% above people of his age who are also in cardiac rehabilitation. Molly.
It's fascinating to get those doctor reports. I know a lot of Bernie fans out there will be happy to hear that one. Former Vice President Joe Biden as well. He's making a new comment about a potential congressional subpoena in President Trump's impeachment trial. Ellison.
Yeah, that's right. And he's speaking with voters in New Hampshire. We're in Derry, New Hampshire right now, which is why I'm doing a bit of a whisper here. But yeah, as you said, he talked about the subpoena and whether or not if he had a hypothetical subpoena, he would comply with it. He made a statement saying that he would not. He then tried to backtrack and clarify that statement before reversing course again. He has talked about this, tried to clarify his initial comments 4 times in as many days. The most recent one happening just a couple of hours ago here in New Hampshire.
I am not going to legitimate what this president is trying to do. Obviously, if I was subpoenaed, I respond. But there is no legitimacy whatsoever to my being subpoenaed to testify in his impeachment. The issue is, what did he do?
Biden was speaking with an editorial board in New Hampshire there. He went on to say if he got a subpoena, he would deal with it at the time he got it. On Friday, Biden told the Des Moines Register he stood by statements he made earlier this month that he would not comply if he were subpoenaed to testify in the Senate impeachment trial because in his view, it is designed to take the focus off of President Trump and the crimes he is accused of committing. But remember, failure to comply with congressional subpoenas is part of the reason the House voted to impeach President Trump. That is what critics quickly pointed to that then led to this seemingly constant change, clarification of those initial remarks on Friday. Molly.
It's been fascinating to see the evolution. Ellison Barber, wonderful job on the trail. Great back of the room whisper. We appreciate your reporting. Thank you.